few months ago, my brother said to me, "Ryan, what was the point in going to university? Where is your degree got you?" Now, in the silent pause that followed, I quickly tried to gather my thoughts. I wasn't going to let him beat me again. But then, maybe there was something to what he was saying. I'd spent all this money at university, all this time studying, working hard on essays, and living off of food you won't give to your dog. Could it all have been for nothing? But then I had a thought, and I turned to him and I said, "It's got me nowhere." You should have seen the look on his face. I could see him, ready to taste his victory, ready to proclaim it loudly for all to hear. But then I added, "I've only had it for 3 days." Now, I recently read an article on graduate jobs. It said that 85 people apply for each graduate job. There was one line in that article that really struck me. It mentioned the race to get a job. What I really want to do is ask, why does it have to be a race? Now, there's a really simple, obvious, one-word answer to that. Success. It's a word that has such a broad definition, but it's also a word that's had its definition narrowed down by the media and scaremongering statistics that constantly tell us how close to failure our generation is. So much so that of the 4 definitions listed for the word on dictionary.com, 3 of them focus upon the attainment of honours and wealth. Now, it's no secret that we live in a results-driven society, that our worth is judged on how much we earn and how quickly we earn it, how quickly we achieve success. And this brings me back to graduates. You see, because we're also focused on success, and because we're also used to this idea that a degree means a job, we're encouraged to believe that the nature of the job doesn't matter. So if you studied media, scriptwriting, like me, and you don't want to just throw yourself immediately into the first ill-defined but well-paying graduate job you see, and you'd rather take the time to do something a bit different, like get a part-time job while working on the side towards something bigger, then you're told that you failed, you're told that you've wasted your time at university, there was no point ever going, and you're told that you're risking your chances at success, which is apparently one of the most irresponsible things you can do. I think a good example of this is the recent backlash New College Nottingham received when it started to offer a degree in heavy metal. Now, as you can imagine, the backlash focused heavily upon the fact that there's way too many degrees that lack credibility in the marketplace, which is fair enough. I'm not going to try and argue that a degree in heavy metal is going to help you get a job in a bank or look good on your CV if you're applying for a job in sales and marketing or engineering. But on the off chance that a student applying for a degree in heavy metal is interested in the history and practice of heavy metal and wants to use what they learn there to start up a band and form a contact base and get somewhere with it, then don't you think that maybe that could be worthwhile? But you see, heavy metal is like media in that someone who subscribes to a more traditional line of thinking might refer to it as a Mickey Mouse subject. And you see, it's because university, like so much of our lives these days, is seen as little more than a training course for the world of work. And so because we're media and heavy metal, there's no clear path, there's no guarantee of a job at the end, then they're not seen as real subjects. I'd like to be a writer, and I've always been told that it's going to take more than just a degree to do that. It's going to take years of unpaid internships, of neglected story ideas that are destined to live unhappily forever on the hard drive of my laptop. I'm going to have to learn to talk, to network with all the scary people that I don't think want to talk to me, to talk about my ideas that makes them sound, to talk about my ideas in a way that makes them sound half as good when I open my mouth as they do in my head, and to talk in front of people like you without being terrified that you all hate me. And universities helped me start doing this, but to get where I really want to be, the learning can't stop now that I've graduated. That's not to say there's not always the pressure to just pack it in and go for the gold. A pressure put on us by a society that says, because I've got a degree, I should be doing better. I think it's a problem best summed up in a talk I watched by a writer called Alain de Botton, who says that people always ask, "What do you do?" Meaning, what's your job? And it goes on to say that if that person doesn't like your answer, then they'll switch off. Now, this is something I've experienced so many times over the last few months. It doesn't matter if you do charity work, if you run workshops, or if you're writing a radio drama to be performed in Leeds, because the nature of a society means that you're not defined by what you do, you're defined by what you do for money. Now, so far I've talked about 3 of dictionary.com's definitions for success, but there is a 4th. The favourable or prosperous termination of attempts or endeavours. the accomplishment of one's goals. Now, I really like this definition because it doesn't necessarily suggest that we should all be aiming for money. What it says to me is that achieving the goal is success, and the goal is something defined by you. Now, I'm fully aware that my desire to be a writer might not work out. It might not end in the attainment of honours and wealth, and quite frankly, it could all go terribly wrong. But to me, the true failure wouldn't be knowing that it didn't work out. The true failure would be looking back in 10 years' time while I'm sat in a well-paid job that I can't stand and thinking that maybe if I'd done this differently or I'd done this differently, it might have worked out. So I'm going to measure my success in knowing that I've given it a go. It's not to say it wouldn't be nice to have had a dream job sitting there the day after graduation. Of course it would. But I think the reality these days is that a degree, whether it's in media or one of them real subjects, doesn't mean a guaranteed job. University is just one of many, many ways to start yourself off. And if you're not the first person to get that job, then that's okay, because it's not a race, it's a journey. I think what's ignored by those who see university as a simple pathway to success is that even aside from the drunken partying and the hangovers and the 10-pence noodles, university is an experience. It's a place of education, and some people find education boring, and that's fair enough because we're all different. But to some, education is wonderful, and to spend 3 years learning about the world and learning about a subject that you've chosen is amazing. In many ways, university is a place to find yourself, a chance to question whatever systems might be in place. And I know that for me, it has been a place of finding myself, finding what it is that I want to do, even if now that it's over, there's a lot of work ahead. University is not the automatic success it once was. Your money doesn't buy you a guarantee. And this idea that a degree means an automatic job is well on its way to becoming one of history's great myths. But that's okay, because people are different, people want different things, and some people want whatever it is that university is. But we're all just scared of failure. We're all so scared that we're not good enough. And I don't think that's helped by articles like the one I mentioned at the beginning that try to tell us we're all in a race competing against each other for the same goal. Because that ignores the fact that we're all different and that we all want different things. And instead of letting us define for ourselves what we want from life, someone, and I don't know whether it's the media or the government or society or some big evil corporation secretly running the world, but someone terrifies us into aiming for a version of success that someone else has defined. Thank you.